Welcome back, my fellow pee-pee poo-poo heads. After my recent Q&A video, I came to a conclusion, and that conclusion was...
my life is a fucking joke.
What will I do with this information? Snitch on myself, of course, for your entertainment. I'm gonna tell y'all some stories about me in school, but like before college. That's because a lot of the interesting things that happened to me after I graduated high school are mildly incriminating. But don't ask questions about that. With that being said, the common theme between all the stories that I'm about to tell you has to do with repositioning siphoned materials.
Do you mean stealing, my nigga?
That is definitely a way to word it. Now to give some context, from elementary to middle school, boy, I was a thief. But back in elementary school, a first grader isn't gonna be stealing nothing crazy. If it was under $10, I was on it like a fly on a hunk of shit. Pokemon cards, gum, soda, jelly beans, fruit snacks, ice cream. Actually, matter of fact, speaking of that ice cream, right? It's the reason why I tried to start scamming in the first grade. Before a nigga like me grew up and learned how to do tax fraud, I had to start off small. So my elementary school sold ice cream at the end of the day every day. And since I had the type of mom that wouldn't let me consume anything with red dye in it, the chances of me showing my face on this channel is higher than the chances of her ever buying me ice cream. So a nigga like me, my brain got active. Me and my delinquent friend decided to then just sit down in the classroom and draw a dollar bill. Me and this nigga were sitting at this table stressing about this shit with fucking crayons, so you know we was drawing outside the lines every single time. I'm pretty sure our stupid asses didn't even color the back of the paper. After we finished, we went to the front office and presented them with the dollar. We was grinning ear to ear, thinking to ourselves, hyped as fuck, oh shit, we about to pull one over on these niggas. The white lady working at the front looked at our two black asses and just laughed. Then she snatched that shit and said, get your money up, not your funny up. And you know what? I did. Eventually, I pulled up to the school with a $100 bill that I stole from my mom's purse. I don't remember what grade that happened in, but I succeeded and got the ice cream. The school told my mom and my mom whooped my ass, but I got the ice cream though, and that's what matters. Since we're on the topic of first grade, right? I think this is when my gum addiction started. For context, I can go through 3 packs of gum in one day currently. So back in my first grade class, I used to just steal gum out of a pack that my teacher had inside of her desk drawer. And I was a greedy ass nigga too. I went from snatching 1 to 2 pieces to 3 to 4. But that was not the extent of the buffoonery. I was in possession of balls so large that I would sit in the middle of class after lunch and just be chewing on that motherfucker. I remember one day after lunch too, she was reading something to us and I was just chewing on that motherfucker. And then out of nowhere, she was like, Kempoleon, what are you chewing on? Now, a guy like me, I can't just be a thief. I gotta be a liar. Up until this day, I don't think that I have told a more horrendous lie in my life. I looked her dead in the eye and said, I'm chewing on a gray carrot. There was no further inquiry. So then I just thought I was smooth. Eventually she moved her gum. She clearly wisened up. Stupid bitch. Then I went on a second grade, right? I did not change at all. And neither did any teacher's ability to hide things. Because my second grade teacher also hid her fucking gum inside of her desk. I kept stealing that shit until one day I got caught by a nigga named Adam. I don't know where that nigga is right now, but I hope he trip and fall. Cause a few days later, I was called to the front office to go and sit in a conference room. And then my teacher walked in. She was like, Kempoleon, I know you've been stealing my gum. I was like, what do you mean? No, I haven't. Then she said the most crazy thing to me. We got cameras in the classroom. I shit myself a little bit when she said that. I'm not gonna lie, but it's okay. I was in the second grade. But after thinking for a bit, I realized that was impossible. So then I smiled at her and I was like, no, you don't. And she kept trying to get me to admit that I'd stolen the gum. But me, a nigga, don't back down. So since she had no fucking proof whatsoever, I got off scot-free. And I never stole gum from her again because she moved it. Now, when I moved to third grade, I just kept stealing. I could not stop. It was like a disease. I just kept sneaking into classrooms after school, feeling like I was James Bond looking for candy. Then I got to 6th grade and stopped stealing from people that I knew and started stealing from stores. Fast forward to the age of around 14, I had basically become a mastermind at thievery. It reached a point where niggas were willing to pay me money to steal shit from the store for them. I was like the young Al Capone without the gambling, prostitution, and murder. I essentially get 0 hoes right now. You think I was pimping bitches back in the 10th grade? But one day I got real careless at the store. My pockets and sleeves were just full of candy. Even Stevie Wonder would have been able to see that the shit in my pocket and sleeves was not mine. But one of my friends said he would buy me in Arizona if I stole him some candy. I was like, shit, I got you. So as soon as he paid for it, I opened it up and started drinking. Him and my other friends walked out the store and waited for me as I bought the things that I wanted to buy. Cause you know, I didn't want to look too suspicious. I say as I have an indent of a fucking Kit Kat bar poking out of my pocket. As the cashier is scanning my shit, I noticed that the manager's walking over to the front door and staring at me. Once my stuff is done being scanned, The cashier asks me about the Arizona that I'm drinking. And I'm just like, yo, my friend bought that shit for me. She was like, where's the receipt? I'm like, hold on, let me bop out and go get it from my friend. Before I step through the threshold of the door, I can feel the manager's eyes beaming down the back of my skull hard as fuck. Once I go outside and turn the corner, I just empty my fucking pockets and my sleeves. And I'm just like, yo, don't say a word. Just give me the receipt and I'm going back inside. I go inside with the receipt and they check off the fact that the Arizona has been purchased. Before I leave the store, the manager stops me with the most crazy smile on his face. He just asks me, so what happened to those things that were inside your pocket? My stupid ass, not really fully understanding what the fuck was going on, was like, what things you talking about? He then proceeded to say that if he caught anybody taking anything from the store next week, they were going to juvie. I can essentially say that scared me straight. Throughout the entire time of him explaining this shit to me, for a whole minute, he was smiling hard as fuck. Like the thought of me going to jail was gonna bring him to orgasm or some shit. Now, when I say that this scared me straight, I just mean that it scared me straight from not stealing from stores anymore. I didn't go back to taking things that didn't belong to me in the school. No. I was stealing my own shit back. A few months after this prior incident, my principal took away my iPod, and my dad wanted to be an asshat, so he said, I will not go to the school to get your iPod until you learn how to get ready in the morning on time. Since a snail living in Africa had a better chance of slithering to my school every day on time than I did, I started plotting. I found out exactly where the principal hid his taken items, which was in his temporary desk in a small room in the library. And I knew the librarian had the keys to that room. I also found the days that the principal had to do crosswalk duty, so he wouldn't be anywhere near the room when I went in there. Then I formed a plan. But then that plan fell through because the principal wasn't supposed to show up the day that the plan was intended. So I formed a new plan. Step 1, get my sister to give me her phone. Step 2, leave my last class early so that I can go to the library as fast as I can. Step 3, ask the librarian if I can use my iPod to look up my uncle's number in my contacts so that I can call him to take me home. Step 4, switch my sister's iPhone with my iPod in the case and hope that since the librarian is older than the Queen of England, she won't be able to tell the difference between a 5th gen iPod and an iPhone 4. Hand the librarian back my sister's iPhone and then dip out the library knowing that my mom will be so mad at what I've done that she'll go back to the school and get my sister's iPhone without questioning anything. Now, you're probably thinking, I probably only said this last part just to flex how smart I am. Wrong. I put this here so that I could flex how fucking stupid I am. Because if I simply just showered at night instead of showering in the morning, I could have easily been on time for 5 days instead of spending 3 weeks straight planning out this fucking heist. Also, I currently do not endorse any of the actions that I have described in this video and should not go replicate this bullshit, and I am a changed individual.